Okay, we should be good to go. Let's see where we left off last night. Okay, humble diligent. Alright. Let's see what the progress that we managed to achieve was. Alright, we managed to sell a couple of items for decent profit. There we go. Alright, so we picked basically everything that we will need. We picked our tier 3 because today goal will be to make it into tier 2. Alright, game is trying to make us buy premium. But we are going to use the free premium currently. Alright, we got some extra tomes that we can definitely use. On our spec, we picked our tier 4 ox, which is more than better for what we're trying to do currently. All right, so we can go to the Bridgewatch bank. After we visit the bank, we can bank the horse. Okay, let's bank the horse, bank the skinning book, and bank these. So we keep that. I'm not sure. I'm gonna keep the catfish, but I'm gonna split and I'm gonna keep only one catfish on me. We have pork pies, we have gathering potions just in case. I'm not quite sure if we will need the gathering potions. We are almost everywhere, 4.1. We have 33,000 silver left. Actually, we can get souls if we want to upgrade our weapon, but I'm not sure if we want to do that now. Now we should go into a tier 4 zone. Yeah, so we can actually grab some tier 4 skins. There we go. This is a tier 4 zone in Bridgewatch. Now, oh, let's see if we can actually faction flag. I'm not quite sure if we can actually faction flag yet, so we'll need to check that. Okay. Actually, that's the only ad I'll allow to play in full. Alright. Can we flag up? We can enlist and we can flag. Perfect. There we go. Now we are faction flagged. Okay. We can skip the ad. We got extra 5k fame. Now gathering is gonna be much better. We have 2 days worth of premium. And let's not forget that we are finally faction flagged. Today's goal will be to actually push our gathering up to tier 4. That's gonna be the main thing we want to do today. We've made a decent progress. Okay, now let's see. We usually, as I said, we go in a circle around the map. Okay, let's just see what our current level is. We are strong AF, always chugger food. We are at 11%, so we need 9% only to push it to the next tier, when we are able to use our tier 4 skinning knife. Line of sight blocked, and after we get our tier 4 skinning knife, we can go into a tier 6 zone, and when we are into the tier 6 zone, we can start looking for enchanted 4.3 mobs, even though it's gonna be a bit challenging to grab the enchanted 4.3 mobs, simply because some players are using techniques that should not be, you know, used. Usually a lot of people talk about the fact that there are plenty of people who are raider hacking in Albion. I don't think they're talking about the fact that some people, because in every game there are people who cheat, you know. I don't want to, when people say that, a lot of new players who have never tried the game think that the game is just plagued with hackers, which is not the case. There is cheating in absolutely every single game there is in existence, But the fact that somebody is cheating in Albion and everybody is pointing out that there are people who do makes the whole game look bad. And that's not the point. The point is to make sure that we bring people who are actually enjoying it. There we go. We grab a couple tier 4s, and as you can see, with premium, with catering food, and with faction flag up, we are getting a lot more resources than we would normally. Usually the tier 4 will be our bread and butter when it comes down to speccing skinning, simply because it's the easiest one to actually spec. We're gonna pull them up, maybe? No, we did not. With nature stuff, quick tip, always make sure that you're using your auto attacks in between, so you're getting the bonus damage of your thorns, and actually mobs can take damage only from one of the pools that you place on the ground, which is your Q, thorn growth. So do your best to actually use your auto attacks in between pools. Otherwise, you are not using your weapon optimally. And Albion is actually a game where being optimal and efficient is going to be key component on how successful you're going to be. But once again, this whole series is aimed towards the absolutely brand new player who just want to have a chill and fun experience, but at the same time achieve something and be able to pay for their premium. Even though the prices of premium are kind of high currently, standing at I think 30 million if I'm not mistaken. How much is premium currently? It's, yeah, ooh, it's 24 million, so it's nothing like too bad. We should have picked the enchanted mob. Can we deal? No, yes, we cannot. Usually a free tip for new players is that you can how mob tagging works. If you are the guy who did 35% of the mob health first, you are the one who actually has the rights over that mob. So for instance, if somebody hit the mob but you burst the mob and you deal like 35% of the mob HP, you're going to be the one who will claim the fame and the loot, of course, if they drop some. Drop rates are rather interesting in Albion. A lot of new players seem to get confused with how that works. Well, it's a bit strange and difficult to explain, but the game tracks what is being used and what is being sold on the markets. So if, let's say, the best content in the game is solo dungeons, the game will make sure that there is more loot in the solo dungeon chests and that you're getting a lot better loot from them. But if the best content, the game decides that the most played content is actually, let's say, solo boss layers, for instance, then solo boss layers chest will drop a lot more good loot. So it's pretty much, again, a player driven thing. Everything in Albion is player driven. Usually that could be both a good and a bad thing. Most of the time it's good. Of course, sometimes players have monopoly over a lot of things in the game, but as in life, it's just part of the way it is. There is nothing to be, you know, nothing to be seen new here. Okay, let's pop our shield quickly. Let's make sure that we evade as much of the attacks as we can, even though we have a really good healing spell on our E. Word of advice, don't use your heals preemptively. Make sure that you use them only if and when necessary. Also, you can, once you start knowing mobs patterns best, you learn how to heal before you take the damage, so this way it will be a lot easier for you to manage your health up. But that's gonna be another topic for another day. So once again, what we do best. Ooh, there is a 4.3. I'm not even sure that we can actually... We can't skin the 4.3. We managed to take it from the guy who's AFK, but we can't skin it. How? Wait, can we actually get tier 4? That's one of the best selling skins in the game. Can we actually get tier 4 skinning knife so we can take that in the next, I think, 15%? I am not sure that we are going to be able to do it fast enough. We are at 15%. No, sadly no. 15%. It's still, I mean, we'll try our best. Of course we'll try our best, but usually before we go into Black Zone Gathering, this is going to be our bread and butter for a while. It's going to be the enchanted mobs in yellow zones, which are one of the most profitables. And to be honest, I haven't seen that big of a difference if you use like Safe Portal and it sends you into a random tier 5 zone, tier 5 Black Zone, that you get a lot more, you know, enchanted mobs. I just don't see this being a thing. But we can surely grab our tier 4 mobs and be happy. Okay, we can pop our shield, we can pop some puddles. We can do some kiting. There we go. We got our free Tome of Insight. We got our free 50k fame daily bonus, and that's another thing. And that's probably going to be tomorrow video about daily bonuses that new players should be aware of and that they should complete. There we go. How much we made? We are at 40,000 currently. So money-wise, we're not doing great, but we are going towards the part where we can make some, juicy profit. Once again, as I said, feel free to go in a circle because usually the mobs, the nodes and gathering nodes are concentrated on the edges of the map. That's with probably most games. They make sure to put it on the other edge of the map for some reason. Okay. Another thing is that now it seems like super slow the way that we are, you know, it takes a lot of time to take the skin, but usually the more you do it, the better you get at it. It's like everything in life. That's why I like that game so much, because it's pretty much, it works the same way as life. It's unfair, it's harsh, but it's fun. Okay, let's grab that big boy. Usually your W is pretty good for interrupts, so you know, most of the time you tend to save it for when a mob does their special attack. Of course, some of the attacks are basically you cannot interrupt them. With time you get used to what you can and what you can't interrupt. But for instance, if I start fighting that caster mob, we are going to kill it, and they start casting, you can usually interrupt it. We made 4k, that's really good. For us, we are standing at 46,000 with nothing but just chill gameplay. No, these are going to be kinda lame. We are going to try and pull as much as we can. Make sure to interrupt those guys. I'm trying to deal as much damage as possible because somebody is trying to take my goods. Now our attention goes on the mob. We tried to dodge this. Unfortunately, we were not able, but it does not matter. Now we simply continue with the farming. And that's a process you repeat kind of over and over again until you reach the certain point that we need. I'm actually going to skin that animal and go for the enchanted mob right here. Unless this guy decides to, but he would not bother. Now we can do that. Go with this. Use your Q, couple of autos, pop your shield just in case. But another thing is that you should make sure that you are not, you know, dropping your triple Q cast and putting it on cooldown, because this way you are losing damage. We managed to pick some decent fame, and we are back to the skinning. You can see this guy. He is quite juiced, and even though he's quite juiced and probably wealthy, he's still here doing one of the safest things you can do as a new player, instead of being advised to go to the Black Zone or Rolls of Avalon to do your skinning. I mean, it will be the best and most profitable, but until you learn the basics of the game, and until you learn how the game works and how your profession works, what you need to do to optimize it and how you can safely achieve it, I strongly advise you not to fall for the trap. Because most of the time people don't realize that going into a Black Zone to skin, for instance, is not just zoning in and congratulations, you made tons of profit. It requires preparation, it requires proper gear, and it requires proper spec. Also, going with just one gathering tool is arguably not the best thing to do, because if you're going all in, you want the best gear, unless you're going for one specific type of, you know, crafted. Let's say you're going tier 8 and you want to just grab tier 8 skills, right? But you're going with a group of people who are going to protect you while you take, because now this is 6 out of 9, right? There are enemies in the game which are going to be 300 out of 300, and each skin you do is going to be one tick. So there is a lot to do before you actually go into the Black Zone, but don't worry, fear not. We are going to go over everything you need to know and need to be aware of before you go there. So when you go into the Black Zone, you'll go prepared. Now what we can do is make sure that we grab this experience. Of course, it's pretty basic experience. It's not going to be something great, but it will help us. It's a tier 2 helmet. It's not really worth picking it up. Some of the loot is not going to be that great, but you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. It's RNG, so we get what the game gives us. If life gives you lemons, you know, that's one of the main things. I was in every single MMO that I played, I never stress over the loot. I never stress over what I get. I never stress over anything which I can't control. Maybe a baby? No, but that's 800. So that's a respectable silver for us at our stage. It's really good. We have plenty of animals to farm here. I'm a bit tempted to actually pick a skinning set tomorrow, so we can do some more optimal farming, so we can prepare for the Black Zone. We are going to go into the Black Zone once we hit tier 5 skinning. Until tier 5 skinning, we'll be chilling in the yellow zones. But until we grab our, well, which is going to happen quite soon, so we can go into a tier 6 yellow zone, we are going to be chilling right here. Of course, that mob is going to be extremely rude and interrupt us. And we are going to grant him a swift death, and we are going to honor, we honor every single kill. It doesn't matter if it's tier 3, we still skin it. And tier 3 is actually the best money makers early on. And I forget again to pick journals. You want to fill up journals usually, because then you can send laborers to do the job. But laborers is something we'll talk about in one of the upcoming videos, and how to maximize your island for profits. There we go. We should be at 20% pretty soon. 19%. There we go. We are almost there. Maybe a couple more skins. We made 64k. Nothing major. Still good money. We are at 20%, but we honor the kill. We are not going to leave money on the ground. We are going to make sure that we pick it up. If you're playing on EU, please type down your in-game name for a chance to win a husky mount at the end of the stream. Keep in mind it will be a short stream today. It was a busy day at work, so you have a high chance to win something real quick. There we go. Now we can do just a quick recall, and we can grab. Do we want to? No, we are actually not gonna grab this our skinning set, because I want to get some fame on my PvP set. Until we have spec in most things, I don't think that we want our skinning sets. Okay, let's go sell some of this stuff we managed to farm and see with how much money we end up with. We're going to the sell. We can repair all. We can sell this. Not a big difference between the sell order and sell price. Medium heights. Yeah, medium heights are the worst, to be honest. Sell or sell order. We sell order this. We can sell this knife. Big difference again. And it's basically 1 silver difference. We are currently sitting at 72 silver. We have 3 pork pies, 2 gathering potions, our knife, 1 catfish, just in case, because we want to do the camps. And I'll show you what the camps are. Now what we want to upgrade is... we want a 4.1 weapon. That's for sure, but we want Thetford Cape. So we are actually going to save our money so we can afford, until we can afford the Thetford Cape. Thetford Cape passive is gonna be great. Synergy with our weapon because of the AoE lightning attack. Now we go here. There we go. This is going to be, actually what I can do is, since we're going to be playing basically in yellow zones for today, we can go to redstone plain. Right after redstone plain, you can go to Phalanx Hill or you can go to Carnes Hill. Unfortunately, these are all highlands, and highlands are not that profitable. Otherwise, you can go to Park Throat, which is a tier 6 yellow. But currently we are going to go into a tier 5 yellow zone, which is going to be Redstone Plain, which is honestly quite good zone. I like it a lot. And if you want to fame farm a bit more efficient, you can go to Phalanx Hill. But the problem is that there are no animals and no fiber. These guys are transporting some heavy load. But that's going to be our build until forever. Unless we want to switch up and play something more, I don't know, more exciting than Nature Staff, but Nature Staff is great. It's a all-around really good weapon. It's probably the best all-around weapon for open world. Doesn't matter if you're doing you know, just open world soul roam, or if you're doing mists, or if you're farming mobs. It's just this good. Let's see if we can at least put 5 points, 5% into the next level, but tier 4 to tier 5 is the worst grind you'll experience in the game. It's just tedious. It's incredibly tedious. Yet people are like, oh, go in the black zone. The black zone is gonna give you only 5% experience per tick. Only 5 points of fame per tick as a bonus. It's nothing crazy, to be honest. There we go. We grab extra fame. We managed to sell an item in Bridgewatch. We sold our medium heights. And we made 10k profit instead of 2k profit. Now, you go straight to the right or to the left, you know. And we are hoping to find some enchanted 4.3 mobs. But we are still going to make sure that we grab the tier 3s and tier 4s, so we can make some extra cash. After the Tedford Cape, maybe we would like to pick a skinning set just for the yellow zone. I'm not gonna wear any skinning gear in the black zone after we go there, simply because we don't have the spec and we don't have the proper gear for this. And it's gonna be a bit pointless. We are going to be dead a lot more often than not, and I want to spec up my my weapon. But this is going to be the most tedious part of all. So this is something you should actually find, I don't know, something to watch, like my stream in the background, and just enjoy the process. You can always buy tomes for 200,000 silver and skip this bit, but I don't think that it's worth it, to be honest, because this is something extremely chill that you can do. Usually, if somebody doesn't know, the butterflies are showing that, for instance, if you see butterflies around something in Albion, it simply means that it's enchanted, like the dungeon, like this hemp. So that means that it's a lot more rare, and respectably for dungeons they're gonna be a bit more difficult, and they're supposed to give you a bit better loot. Tier 5s will be extremely slow and inefficient in gathering those, so we are aiming to find 4.1s or 4.2s or 4.3s. And this is something else, we are aiming to find those glowing enchanted mobs, so we can at least have some fame and a bit of spec when going into the black zone. People might be like, oh, but you just said 0 spec. Yes, 0 spec, but new players are not gonna do 0 to hero. That's just facts. And we are reputable. We increased our reputation, which is nothing major, but still it's a good progress. Your reputation is this right here, and if you go into your stats, you can see your reputation, and if you go into info, it's gonna show you different you know, the different reps that you can have. Actually, that's a enchanted soul dungeon, but that's like the basic one with the green butterflies, and we are going to showcase what a enchanted basic soul dungeon looks like. But for this, we are going to need to swap our food to this Negamout catfish, simply because we need something to keep our health up while we are into the dungeon, and it will restore health going from mob pack to mob pack. So we can check that, and we are good to go. Our gear should be good enough to maybe clear this, so you can maybe figure out for yourself if you find solo dungeons to be fun. Solo dungeons are probably not that profitable, but they are something really fun to do on the side. I'll do probably a dungeon with, for you know, better new player reference, blue butterflies, which are the rare ones, but you know, the green ones are usually okay, unless you only get fame tomes, but fame is crucial key. Of it again. No, there we go. Reputation wise, it's kinda, it's not the best. If you're doing it for loot and reputation, it's not the best. You do solo dungeons just for the chance to get something better, and you do solo dungeons just for the chance to maybe, you know, get some fun loot at the end. That's it. Would I recommend you doing solo dungeons? No. I mean, if you like them, yes, go for it. Everything you'll enjoy should be your priority, but we control a preemptive heal just because we're gonna tank a lot of damage here. But as you can see, our food is giving us a really good health regen, and it's actually cheaper than soups. It's just 2k silver. There we go. Sadly, we will not be able to dodge these guys and we have to fight. As you can see, our W is really good at interrupting. I'm gonna pop my heal just a bit preemptively so we can be topped up, because our gear and spec are not the best and we need to be a bit more careful. Don't worry, we'll spec that really soon, so you have a lot more smoother experience, but that's the baby steps that you need to take as a new player. There we go. One of the crucial parts in Albion, make sure that you juke the AoEs. If you're not standing in AoEs, you should be good to go. Also, make sure that you kill the casters first if you're pulling multiple groups of mobs, simply because they deal a lot of damage. We are going to the second floor of the dungeon. Don't forget to pick your rewards, which in our case is really good because it's learning points and we are going to need those to level up our skinning. Never waste learning points on combat abilities simply because fame is really easy to come by. It's nothing to stress over. Yes, it might seem like it's extremely difficult to fame farm. It's not once you lay down the mechanics. But as I said, the goal is to make it. We are going to get CC change. Is to make it as close as possible to your new player experience as you can. There we go. Our catfish foot again will boost us super fast. Back to full health, and we continue with the clear. Make sure you pick your silver. We are sitting at 86, and we can actually pick our Tedford cape, which is costing roughly 90,000 silver, but it's a really good investment. We are approaching the boss area, or at least we should be. Some dungeons have multiple, some dungeons have one. While there is visual on the ground, the skill is still active, so you don't walk into it like I did. There we go. The turrets will do their best. We throw one auto attack. And this is Mr. Boss, and that's a big chest. First things first, you should try to kill the ads first, so the boss will be a lot easier. As I said, try to maximize your chances by simply avoiding the boss attack. In some dungeons there is just one boss, in some dungeons there are multiple. Make sure, as I said, that you are using your auto attacks. Throw a W when you have nothing or when you can interrupt. We can pop our shield just in case. There we go. Just make sure to avoid the auto attacks. Boss is getting red, so boss is getting angry. Usually here I would pick for bosses and soul dungeons, I would swap my boot skill to dodge roll. But simply for this, I don't think that we need anything too crazy. Would be nice if that was a legendary chest. We got only 9,000 silver, so as I said, it's nothing to stress over. And be like, ooh, that's a dungeon, I need to do it now. We got 50k combat fame from the quest. Lost my chastity. I just love the puns in this game. Let's kill those guys real quick. And let's see if there is a second boss room. If you get a legendary chest, even in yellow zones, you can make some pretty decent profit. Of course, as I said, in Albion nothing is guaranteed. There is RNG in everything. Okay, throw down your torrents. So, for 2 mobs, you know, 2 mobs, 3 mobs, it doesn't matter. Mobs are taking damage only from one of the pools, but it's a habit. All right, make sure you drop your Q. There we go. Can pop our R. Usually if you're not sure that you can kill the boss and there might be a bunch of resets during the fight, one of the best things you can do is swap your Inferno Shield to Ambush. So you can simply vanish and lose the boss aggro. There we go. Interrupt this, we throw down our Q with auto attack. Torrents are dealing a lot of damage. Once again, we just move out of the way. There we go. Throw a W. We should be approaching the boss room very soon. Of course, first things first, deal with the humanoid, because they have spells that tend to hurt a lot. And after that, we can go with Angry Herbert. We are pushing at Master Reaver, and your Reaver level is important because without max Reaver level, you are going to do a lot less damage on, you know, higher tier enemies. Wait for our cooldowns, but since our W is not going to be that crucial, we can start the fight without it. Okay, I can do more. I'm gonna pop my Inferno Shield, so we have better. That's actually going to be a difficult fight. Maybe I'll need to swap 2 different boots. Let's push the boss away until we heal. The problem is that the zone is going to be a lot smaller because of the AoE on the ground. I'm gonna pop boots so we can get out of that. Yeah, maybe dodge roll would have been more optimal to use. Try to pop him. There we go. Just make sure that you're using your cooldowns. There we go. We should do some kiting. Throw a W for extra damage. Nothing major. Now the boss is getting angry. Now we are dead, because we were not able to keep our distance, and at 700 item level it's quite difficult. So what would be the best course of action here? It's rather simple. We should be more careful with our cooldowns. Now what we can do is we can go with, I'm not sure, we can go with dodge probably. Hey Nelson, thank you for the sub, mate. Enjoying your channel so far. Thank you, mate. I highly appreciate it. Welcome to the club. We can go with dodge. Oh, right. Boss had other idea. Boss was like, no, we just go, mate, right? And as I said, for this one is actually quite difficult sometimes, because you're very limited to movement, and with nature stuff you want to move. Now we don't want to step into any of these exploding areas, because we are going to take a lot of damage. But you need to make sure that we can dodge the whirlwind after the boss gets enraged, right? So we want to keep our distance. He'll soon be enraged, right? Guy is enraged. You just make sure to kite, right? Perfect. Also, don't be greedy with damage. By the way, guys, as I said, feel free to type your EU in-game name, giving away a husky mount at the end of the stream. It will be a short stream today. There we go, and we should be quite good with this. No need to do anything special. We just need to dodge this attack. And we need to get some autos, and there we go. We managed to complete the dungeon, and we get a purple chest. Now let's see if the purple chests are worth it. Right, let's use our... And we have 50,000 silver. Let's see the chest. 162,000. Well, as I said, sometimes you can get lucky with them. Sometimes you don't, sometimes you do. But it's purely RNG. We have a 5.2 Merc jacket, which is going to be really good. We have a 6.1 Soldier jacket, which is quite good. And we've made 200,000 silver quite fast, which is pretty good so far. We have 195k, we have 137k just from pure silver drops. We can use this, and we are at 166k in inventory and 166k in items. Now what we do is we swap our food. We go back to pork pie. You can, by the way, you can leave dungeons simply by clicking A, and you'll be teleported out. You don't need to walk all the way out. If somebody missed that, you can simply press A and be out. Which is, for me, it was actually one of the things that was, how to say, one of the moments where I started and I was like, wait, you can actually do that? Why am I walking all the way out? Okay, let's go back on our ox and let's try to find some enchanted tier 4s. Of course, we can take the tier 3s as well, since we need to push that tedious part. And I think that that's actually one of the points where new players are like, no, gathering is going to take ages. This is just the worst part that you need to basically push through, but with some extra food buffs, with your faction flag up, and with some nice music in the background and something to do or listen to. Basically what I was doing a lot of the time when I did, for instance, skinning, because I've done skinning from tier 4 to tier 5 plenty of times, and honestly I've done it in the black zone, but most fun I've had just being here, listening to some chill music and having something in the background to listen to. It's one of those, you know, like blissful moments in life. There we go. Let's see our faction standing currently. We have 814 points, which is nothing major, right? But we can grab our first chest, not very soon, but soon enough. Everything in Albion is, how to say, baby steps. You take a step, you don't see it. I mean, if I gotta put it down in the most understandable way, it's like going to the gym. You start doing it, and most people quit because they don't see results instantly. Albion is the same. You don't see the results instantly, but everything you do adds up to a point where it will be beneficial in the future if you do it now. Alright, so far we're having no luck with enchanted mobs, which is quite sad. Well, that's an enchanted 5.1 mob, but these are the worst. These take like ages to skin, and it's not really worth the silver. I mean, when you spec high enough, go for it. While leveling, don't bother with them. These are the worst birds in existence. These are actually the bane of Albion. But we can take that tier 5. It's gonna be good experience at least, if nothing. There we go. And actually, you can skin kitties a lot faster than you can skin the birds. And there is a reason why these bastards are called terror birds. Yeah, they just love being aggressive. Oh, there we go. Is that a 5.2? Oh my god, I'm not sure if we can take the 5.2. Come on, you stupid terror bird. Come on, you dumb bird. Move. Yes. Sadly, we need our expert knife. And that's why you really want to push towards your tier 5 knife. Wow. As fast as possible. Terror birds, goddammit. Everything is so angry here. But if we can find 4.1s, it's gonna be best. That's a good spot. I wouldn't stop for a pack of mobs where we have like 20 terror birds chasing us. Those birds are just the bane of every single Albion player. I don't know what's worse in the yellow zones. To see a flock of terror birds or Swole Benji, to be honest. Both things are scary. But as you can see, we haven't even dinged this. It's still at 0%, even though we managed to do some scanning at least. Even though the solo dungeon took quite of our time, but we made 166,000, so I'm happy with it. We made some decent money. Again, terror birds. We'll try to go and complete one of the camps in the yellow zones, which is something that as a new player, and even not as a new player, should aim to complete. There we go. Stay away from the terror bird, because we don't want to do that. And the main reason why I prefer to be in tier 5 zones instead of, you know, tier 3 and tier 4 is simply because you have camps, first things first, and you have better fame. Because at the end of the day, our main goal is to build up our item set specs as well as our gathering. Because I want to give the new player the best perspective and the best future investments while doing a couple of things at the same time. God bless, we got 1k, we got a furniture, and we got some learning points. By the way, you can actually place the furniture usually in the open world as well. Well, not this one. But don't stress about it, it's nothing worth that much. Okay, from these guys we can actually drop a baby, which is roughly 100k silver. So these are going to be the best ones to farm currently, and this is going to be our aim. Of course, tier 3s are still good to pick up, just simply by the sheer volume of skins that you get from those guys. Oh no, we don't want the reflux. I should have brought my sickle and mining pick, but since tomorrow is probably gonna be a longer stream, we'll do a couple of more things together rather than just one. So we can show people that you can do a lot of things at the same time. It's not just one tedious grind. But yeah, if I need to explain Albion to someone who never played the game, it's like Monday morning, you don't know what to expect from it. But if you put enough effort in, maybe something will work out the way you need it to. The more you do, the more you get rewarded. That's simply the way I can put it. But you need to put a really good and solid foundation. There is a method to the madness. Of course, we get interrupted by this kitty. Here we go. We on. Ooh, it's a 4.1. And we pick our first enchanted mob, which are giving you the best experience wise. So we really need 4.1 mobs, because they give roughly 60 experience per node, and if we manage to get our food proc, we're gonna get like 90. But of course we're gonna pick the tier 4s as well, because we need to spec up, and the faster you can pick the tier 4s, the best it is. One of the main reasons why is, first of all, if you use the save portal, which you probably should once you have enough you know, enough to invest in it, because going in and out of the save portal is gonna cost you a lot. And that's one of the things I dislike about people pushing new players into the save portal as well. 7 or 8 times out of 10 you end up in a tier 5 black zone, which has no difference than tier 5 yellow zone when it comes down to, oh, we got a faint dome, when it comes down to loot. Of course it's better, of course it can drop better loot, of course you get more fame, but when it comes down to mobs density and tiers, it's pretty much the same. There is no big difference. And when you spend 100,000 silver as somebody who's playing the game for 2 days and you end up broke, you quit the game. I'm trying to emphasize everything I do on, you know, player retention rather than pleasing people who already know what they need to do. Okay, and this is a soul encampment. This is one of the things which we want to do for extra fame and loot. I'm not sure if we'll be able to complete the soul encampment. We should be. Our gear level is kinda garbage, so it will take plenty of time to defeat the boss monsters, but with some spec you will be able to complete with this very build even the group encampments. But keep in mind that usually here it's going to be quite difficult, and you'll be able to be attacked by other players in those encampments, so be prepared for some PvP. But fear not, more often than not, players are super chill and they'll just fight for mobs, take their camp and have fun. There we go. We don't want to die because we don't want to pay repair bills. Unfortunately, right now we do not have the food that gives us extra health regen, so patience is the name of the game. This camp is actually massive when it comes down to mobs density, which is usually quite good, because some of the camps don't have a lot of enchanted mobs and you need to kill a lot of the basic mobs, which is going to take a lot of time to complete the camp. Keep in mind that once you complete the camp, you cannot take more fame from it. As you can see, there are players who are attackable and they can attack us. Of course somebody will attack you eventually, but we have uncommon soul cash, which is more often than not the better. We pick 16k and we are good to go on our way. We completed another mission, which is going to be another 20k edit, and we have 11k more, which is good money. So far, just by chill gameplay, we made 200,000 silver with no stress, no danger, no panic, just chill vibes. Okay, let me make sure I pull that one as well. We will be able to pick our Tedford cape and our skinning set. We finished our daily faction quest, which is good because we're getting faction points and faction standing, so we get more bonuses. And as you can see, we are getting roughly 60 fame per tick. Usually if you see a spot where 4.1 or 4.2s are spawning, it's commonly a good idea to just farm one spot, because there is a chance that a lot of people are doing the same thing as you are. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm just going to use the best practices. But since there is no fast respawn and we can find a 4.2 node, like instead of 5.2 or 4, yeah, it's if we dismount, we are pretty dead. But this is a good place. We found another 4.1, but just by the sheer size of the corpses here and the sheer amount, more likely it's going to not be full, but still 4 out of 6 is good. Got 45. There we go. Got extra 60. Keep in mind that tier 4 is the least profitable skins. They're just not worth a lot of money, but it's a crucial component of the grind. I'm skipping a lot of the low tier enemies. Usually that's gonna be a good pool, because if you see those stags stacked like this, that's a sign that there we get lucky and have a baby drop, and that's gonna be 100k. Thank you, kind sir. Got some extra fame. We level up some. Oh, boys! I actually called it. We got a baby. We actually got a baby. I just said that when you see a group of stags, you always want to kill them because you can get a baby, and we got the baby. There we go. But yeah, this is one of the tips I always tend to give to new players. You see stags, you kill them. Another thing is, if you really fast need to, let's help this guy. He brought us good luck. If you want to mount up and you cannot click for some reason on your mount, you simply press A. And there is a setting in game. Let me show you this real quick. Controls. Alternate mount up. Using your mount ability, it will cause you to walk back to your mount. First of all, it's really lazy thing to do. And another thing is that it's quite efficient sometimes. But there we go. We got our baby. We are at 300,000 silver currently. Life is good. Oh, enchanted mob. Hello, ladies. These are the best mobs in the game for obvious reasons. There we go. Just make sure to dodge everything and to use your Thorns passive. I'm trying to warn every single new player who's going to eventually watch this, maybe, that the sheer amount of time needed to end up to this point, it will take plenty of time. It's not gonna be a, you know, do one get one. It's gonna take a lot of time, but I'll try to make it as educating as possible, you know. I want to make it fun, but I want to make it educational as well, even though it's extremely hard to make something watchable which has the same I don't know, the same retention, basically the same value as watching paint dry. You know, some people are like, man, this is gonna be extremely boring. Yes, but that's the point, to find a way to cure the boredom. Right, sadly no baby, but getting a lot of skin. Always keep track of your food buffs. Yeah, those kitties are giving a lot of extra goods, post 3, post 2. But yeah, as you can see, we've done a lot of skinning. Well, would be considered a lot by some new folks, and we've not even put a dent into the tier 5. But that's just Albion for you. Nothing comes for free, my friend. If you want something, you should work for it. And that's why Albion Online is the greatest game in existence. I'm just kidding. It sounds like one of those telephone salespersons. Actually, what happened to those? Do you guys remember that there were ads on the phone, on TV, where call in the next 2 minutes and you're gonna win, you know, buy one get one free, like teleshopping or whatever it was called. I don't know what happened to those guys. It was niche, I guess, and they for some reason stopped doing it. Maybe because people got a bit smarter and they realized that it's just one big scam, and that the items they're selling are actually garbage. But it was fun to actually watch the ads and the marketing. It was really good. Even though you buy the item, it does nothing. The sad part, it was orientated towards scamming people who have no clue how life works. Alright? Usually, if you decide to fight mobs and you run, but then you stop and you're like, nah, I'll fight. Be careful, because if you step up at the reset range, sometimes you can reset the mobs and you've invested already mana and health points, and yeah, the mobs go back to full health. We'll need to grab some better gear, but it should suffice for now. Let's pick up this tier 5 that decided to donate its lowless skin to our growing collection. 324. And I'm going to basically show you what I preach. It's to never use Tomes of Insight early on. It's simply not worth the 20,000 fame when I can get 33,000 silver off of it. There we go. Let's actually drop aggro. This guy is going to be problematic. If he wants to fight us, we should just accept the facts, do our best. As I said, encampments, most of the time they're chill, but sometimes, you know, as in life, you gotta fight. Even though that guy is, well, it's not that, well, he's scary for sure, but it's not that bad. If he wants to fight, we can probably run away somehow. We'll figure out a way. But that's the main problem now, that we need to wait for this guy to actually leave so we can get some of the mobs for us. Keep in mind that more or less most times these are just going to offer you nothing but fame tomes, and these fame tomes are actually soulbound, so it's not like you can make profit, but you can use it to fame up, of course, respectively. So it's not bad. There we go. Alright, this guy is good. Also keep in mind that chests are individual. If the guy gets a green chest, it doesn't mean that you can't get a legendary chest. I've had a legendary chest a couple of times from these camps. Sometimes you can make up to 300,000, sometimes more, sometimes less. We'll see. But don't be, you know, don't get your hopes up. Most of the time, more or less, it's going to be a simple green chest with fame tomes. All right, let's make sure that we knock those guys down. Thank you, kind sir. Make sure we dodge that. Heal up in case we pull the mobs behind us. Okay, I'm gonna throw a turn, kite away. And we got a uncommon soul cash, which is 29,000, which is actually quite good. It's not the best, but in this zone it's quite decent. And we got a 4.2 shield, which I'm probably going to keep and not sell. Usually what I do is, if the piece of armor is good for PvP and the set I'm intending to play, I do not sell it. If it's good for something else I plan on doing, I just don't sell it. Because sometimes it will be more expensive for you to buy it, you know. And let's say you go into the black zone and you get killed, which is what's going to happen more or less and more often than not. Have I guys showed yes, let's showcase a mist. Let's showcase a yellow mist, because sometimes in the mists there are animals that you can skin as well, and I want to get my Brazilian reputation up. And Brazilian reputation is something new players should look for, because Brazilian gives you the opportunity to go into solo mists over and over again without finding them in the open world. And I love Brazilian. Brazilian is probably my favorite city, and mists are probably, when it comes down to vibes, are just my favorite place to be. Usually you want to look for camps in mists. Unfortunately, there is, well, it gets easier with time. There is no easy way to tell where there is a camp. Usually they look like a square of, let's say, these rock formations. Like this looks like a camp. Is it a camp? I don't know. Do I see any camps here? No, I don't. Is this a good mist? No. If there are no camps, you should probably not bother with it. But let's see, and yes, this is going to be a camp. So these were the same way as... Ooh, that's a Flame Waker stuff. This guy could be an asshole, or he could be a nice guy. It really depends, but in Mist is the same as the chests. In the encampments, you complete the objective and you loot the cash. More often than not, in these mists you are gonna get, again, green chests, but sometimes you get really good chests, especially from the big camps, that can make you a lot of money. And if you get, let's say, uncommon mists, in the uncommon mists you can find fey dragons, you can find spiderlings, and these can be extremely profitable. From fey dragons I've made approximately 10 million just from Fate Dragons in the last like 1 month. Just because I love doing mists. And also in mists you have all sort of resources, because in cities you don't have all sort. Most city regions are limited to, you know, 2, one of them being main resource and one of them being a secondary. Let's say Bridgewatch, your main resource is animal hides and fiber, even though Bridgewatch has a bit of everything. Well, not everything, but you have fiber, you have mining, you have animal hides. Okay. We can get rid of this. But in all camps, after you complete the camp, the mobs are giving you no more, giving you fame. And unfortunately, it's gonna be a small soul cache. But we managed to find a tome, so it was actually not that bad. As you can see in one of my latest shorts video guides, we can walk towards the exit or we can simply log out, but since we are close to the exit, it will be okay to just walk there. We have 50k just from fame tomes, so we are going to sell these to the lazy boys and girls. There we go. But these can be used freely because they are so bound and we cannot sell them. Okay, we have 361, which is decent. We've been doing this for 1 hour and 10 minutes. And we have 206k liquid, and we have 361 in goods, in gear. There we go. We just picked this guy. Not bad, kind of decent fame. Of course, it's not like so quality fame, but it's still good. There we go. Ooh, and let's end the night with a soul dungeon, with a rare soul dungeon. Sadly, I have no regen food on me, and it's gonna be problematic. It will be a lot of downtime. Yeah, this is gonna be plenty of downtime, and because the ox is kind of shit. It's a really good mount, only when by your side. Ox is like money, it's good only when it's by your side. Okay, be careful, dodge the AoEs here. Make sure you go into kind of melee rage on ballistas so we can pop them. We get stunned. Keep in mind that the rare dungeons are going to be a lot more painful. Okay, this mob got a shield. We really need to get rid of the siege ballista. But at the same time we want to get rid of the mob, which has this annoying shield. There we go. Let's heal up again. Actually, people tend to leave the runes on the ground. I tend to pick them up because you can upgrade flat force. And you get a lot of flat force. People are always like, why do you pick the runes? Bro, it's money laying on the ground. Why are you not picking the runes? It's the same as the argument that if you see 2 cents on the ground, would you pick it? Yes, I will. Is it efficient? No. Is it a lot of money? No. Will I do it? Yes. It's free money. There we go. Fame is kinda but that's soul dungeons for you. But that's a rare dungeon, so I want to showcase how difficult it is at 742 item power. And actually, this song, Samuel Orson is a great artist, but this song for some reason is not the song for me. I used to enjoy it a lot back in the days, but nowadays, not really. Okay, there we go. And I'm not 100% sure that we can actually defeat the boss. You go AFK for a second and the mob is beating your ass. Usually we should be able to defeat the boss with a couple of tries, simply because our gear is kinda eh. But that's the beauty of Albion. It skill pays off. Of course, I'll need to figure out what I want to throw out. We can throw this away. We are at 158. This costs like 6k. Okay, wait. Let's sort by weight. So by weight, this is the worst one at 11,000. Boom, 96. Just because for the boss fight we need to be agile, and 11k is, as a new player you should never do this, but since I know that I will need the loads sometimes, if you need to make the decision to throw away 10,000 silver or to be able to move, always pick to be able to move. 10,000, as we've seen today and yesterday, is nothing to stress over. Kill the healer. This is the same good old yeah, that was actually surprising, but that's rare solo dungeons for you at that IP. We should invest a bit into gear. 4.3 is gonna be the best, and we don't have a cape. Some of the mobs are linked. There we go. Kill this guy. This guy should be your main target. There we go. Perfect. Let's pop the heal. Nature stuff, MVP. You do not need to kill all the mobs, but these bastards are gonna do their best to make your life a living hell. Sadly. Okay, let's kill this guy at least. Oh boy. Oh. Okay. This is gonna be challenging. But that just showcases how good druidic stuff is. There is no way, there is no peaceful way to do this. Okay, I'm not even sure if I hit my... There we go. Let's see if we can do the boss eventually. We are not that close to the boss. The main problem with the rare ones is that it takes a lot of time for you to actually reach the boss room, and the ads, as you can see, are quite annoying after at a level where your gear is absolute garbage. But we need to try our luck, right? This is really painful if it hits. Okay, let's heal up. Can I not aggro these guys? Oh my god. What is that aggro range? Okay, let's get rid of this dude. He's hitting like a truck. Okay. God bless druidic stuff. Okay. Be careful with the rats. Some of them explode. Okay, we need to do that real quick. Interrupt. There we go. Yeah, just the way aggro works in these dungeons is you need to kill the bastard. Okay, we see two, should be good to go with. Actually, two mobs should not be that problematic. Let's heal up. We should be methodical, guys. It's sad when you are like methodical, you're doing it, and at the end it's like, thank you. Okay, it's like 10,000 silver sounds good for you. These guys hurt a lot. Yeah, these guys hurts a lot if not treated on time. Okay. No, it's now we need to kite until we can, or heal gets off. There we go. Oh, it's gonna be another level and not a boss room. Oh boy. This is probably one of the most annoying dungeons, but no, if you get something nice, it would be good. And I just love seeing if I can do something, you know. Oh my god, big guy hurts. Okay. Alright. There we go. 111. Nothing major. Oh boy, these guys are awful. Alright, we somehow survived. Now the big question, can we kill the big dude? I'll wait for some mana. We have two big guys here. We should be extremely careful how we approach this. We should not pull the boss. Words of wisdom, always make sure you clear the room before you fight the boss. And now we should wait for our cooldowns and for some mana, because I have no regen food. And I'm gonna go with dodge. And I'm gonna... Ooh, we don't have calmness. Oh no. Protectant of nature. Revitalize. I might need to go with 2 healing spells. Ooh. No. Let's go with... Yeah, we might need 2 healing spells for this boss with this gear. Yeah. Alright. Actually, I'll go with auto attack speed, just because the only skill we have is going to be Q. Alright, let's try our best. Okay, let's use our second healing spell that we picked, and we picked it for a reason. Okay. Let's pop E. Let's pop R. Okay. Okay, should be good to go with the dodge. We ran out of mana, which was to be expected. Just need to dodge that. There we go. And we managed to complete the rare dungeon. Loot. 13k. Yeah. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. Okay, let's use that. Let's use that. Let's use this. Yeah. So thank you everybody for stopping by today. Sorry for the short one. Tomorrow will be a lot longer stream. So yeah, thank you guys, and see you all tomorrow.